video, we are going to review how to wrap a present with double-sided wrapping paper and make our own bow and ribbon out of the wrapping paper. And the wrapping paper that I got is recycled wrapping paper that I actually found at Costco, which I was quite excited about to see that they're using recyclable products. So for measuring out our boxes, so we always want to start at the very top of our paper with our package, and we want it to be able to roll over 4 times to make sure that we have enough paper to cover the length of the box, which this does. And then we want enough to go up on the sides. It's okay to have extra. It's better to have too much paper than too little paper. And we are going to be using some of the paper for the bow and ribbons, so a little extra is okay. We would like that. So this one, we're just going to cut a little extra, and I'm going to use my wrapping paper slicer. You slide it right on in, and the faster you push, the easier it is to cut the paper without tearing it. And then whenever you're wrapping your presents, you always want the top of your box facing down so that the top of the box will be the top of the present. So this is the bottom where the wrapping paper will go. So on this one, with your double-sided, you just figure out what side you like better. Now I know I have too much paper, so I like to push it a little bit more, about halfway, a little more than halfway on the side of the box. On this side as well, so I have, on this part, I kind of just fold over the test, so that's still a little too much. If you have a better way of doing this, please let me know. A lot of times I just kind of make it up as I go. I do it for fun, not to be perfect. And I love tips and tricks. So if you have any, please feel free to share. I love to look at the comments and get feedback. Just regular Dollar Tree tape. It is transparent, nice and clear, so it does look better on the boxes as you can't see them. And then I always like to give a little crease for a nice straight line. If there was any jagged lines, sometimes the paper might have like a number printed on there, folded over so you don't see it on your package. Tape right in the middle. And then the sides we're going to push in. We'll push the sides in and push down and in and down. Fold our seams, press down, and then if you press on the side of the packaging, it makes it nice and sharp and crisp. My husband loves crisp lines. On this paper, I'm gonna just tape a little piece of the paper down to kind of hold it in place on one side so that I can do the rest without it falling on me. So I push up, make it nice crisp line, and then I fold this seam over to have a nice crisp line. Pull it up, and then I just get my tape, pull it up, press it up. Do the next side. And the fun thing about the double-sided paper is that when we do our ribbon and bows, you will see it will show on both sides, so you don't have like the blank slide like on the first video we did with the grid paper. If we were to make a bow the way we're going to make the bow today, you would see the grid. And then I'm going to just go ahead and fold this over again. Like to say, you know, what's in the package. If the outside is better, that's always good too. There we go. You can add as much or as little tape as you possibly like to your presents. So now we have our package nice and wrapped. We're going to go ahead and move that to the side. And then we are going to make our ribbon and bows out of the rest of the paper. So we are going to make our bow. We're going to fold the paper over in half. Now I have a stencil. Now I got this idea from my friend who we used to live together, and she watched me wrap, and we kind of learned from each other. So she kind of makes like a little fish. She can just draw it out real quick. She's been doing it forever. I made myself a stencil and I trace it out. So what you want to do is on your fold, you want to put the top of your fish at your fold, and then you're going to trace from the nose down around and up and around. Now the important thing is when you're cutting, you do not want to cut through here. You want it to be able to be together so it looks like two fishes kissing when we're done. You will see. So I'll take my scissors and I will cut out what I traced. Now I'm cutting on both sides of the paper. You want your tail to kind of be even on both sides. That was not. Okay, and then you will see we have, they're attached. So we have two fishes kissing, if that's kind of what it looks like. And then what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna cut a little extra piece of the paper that we are going to need for the center of our bow. So I just cut kind of where the tail is, and that's kind of thick. So I'll just cut that in half for now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our fish, and then on the tails, we're going to cut slits on opposite sides. So I'll cut a slit in the middle of the tail on this side, and then on the opposite side. So on the bottom and the top, we're just doing a slit halfway through, not all the way. You don't want to cut the tail off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your slits and you're going to push them together. So you're putting the two tails together. So now it's kind of like you have one fish and you can see, and then you push it down and then you have your little bow. We can see that. And then we're going to put a little piece of tape on the back. And so it's taped together, but this part is still loose. So it's kind of like an O, if we can see that. So we'll push that part down. And then this is still a little too thick. And then that's why we like the double-sided wrapping paper, is so that it is pretty all around the bow and whatever parts are facing you. And then we take that little strip of paper and we're going to put it down the center of our bow. And then we're going to get a little piece of tape and tape that. So now we have a cute little wrapping paper bow. We can do that in another video. These are quite long. I think I will cut some in half. And then to curl your ribbon, you open your scissors up. You put your thumb on the center and your index finger on the back. Be careful of the blade. You can cut yourself. And then you put your thumb on your paper on the sharp part of your scissors, and then gently glide the paper over your scissors and it'll curl your paper. And you got to be careful. If you pull too hard, you will tear it. It is paper. Even with the ribbon too, you can strip the ribbon, which just means you've pulled it too much and then it won't curl anymore and you need a new piece of ribbon. But since we're just using the scraps of the paper, it's okay. It's not like we're making a waste. And sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate at all, which is fine. It happens. So what we're going to do is we will plan out how we would like our ribbon to lay on our packaging. I'm thinking I'll do the bow in the center and have the ribbons come out. This one's longer and extra curlier, so I'll put this one down the middle. And then this is what was ever aesthetically pleasing to you. You are the wrapper of the package, and this one I would like a little longer. So as long as you think it is looking pretty super awesome, then I'm sure the person you're giving the gift to will also feel the same. Okay, so I'm going to have my bow at the top and then my ribbons coming down. So I'm going to go ahead and tape my ribbons in place first, because I'm going to tape my ribbons underneath where my bow will go so that you can't see where I've taped them onto the packaging. I kind of gather them in the same vicinity and kind of tape them a little spaced, and then when I put my bow on top, you won't be able to see that. For the bow, I'm going to go ahead and pull a nicer piece, and then I'm going to wrap it around itself so that it becomes like double-sided tape, which just means it's tape on all sides. And I'm going to stick that right in the middle of my bow and press that right onto my present. And then for my curly cues, I like to tape these down in place. So I kind of put them out to where I would like it to be, tape it down, and if I would like my tip a little more curly, I'll curl it again. I'm going to cut this piece of tape just because my ribbon's kind of thin. I don't need a thick piece of tape. And if it's not curled the way you want it, you can always hand curl it more. Voila! You have your perfect little